and especially us, I think we see COVID as a blessing in disguise as well. So we are able to address those kind of balance sheet issues. We are able to restructure ourselves, and that put us in a better footing. Therefore, I think even during the pandemic, we start publishing our blueprint in terms of sustainability. I think for the airlines, as far as you are concerned, it's a long-term game. It's really a long-term horizon, but we'll have to start now. Conversation around sustainable aviation fuel, around technology, around how do we then, achieve the net zero by 2050. Those conversations will have to start now, and action will have to start now as well. And given this new millennials or the Gen Z that looking at contributing to this journey towards the net zero in 2050, an airline will create product with partners, especially on how do we then bring this agenda on.
That's a very good point. I think you are trying to think about it from, let us also create the solutions and products, right, that find the right balance in driving the new segments to come through, and then also that diversifies the flow as well. Because it's very easy to rely on the existing core segments, but you also need to find the right balance between the new and the existing segments per se. I want to pause for a while because we are midway through the conversation and open the floor if you have any questions to ask to the panel before we talk and move on to the second half. So before we move on to the second half of the conversation, do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask the panel? You can raise your hands and I will pick up. No questions? Okay, no, I will continue on with the show. Now I want to just get as a pause, right, for this. We are now midway through MATTA Fair. Right? You've walked around the halls, you've seen all these interesting things. I want to get your thoughts, right? What do you see what is very interesting in this fair? How different has it been from past MATTA Fairs? Any volunteers here who would like to share their insights on what they observe as subtle differences or even big differences, right, in respect to this fair?
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I think for one, MATTA have done an amazing job at moving it to MyTech, and the feel of it is so different. But what I think is very interesting is just how much money I think agents, tourism operators who are in the fair have invested in the build-up of this fair, right? The quality of the stands themselves are kind of next level, which is great for the consumers. Of course, it gives us this really lovely impression. But I do wonder then whether it's going to start putting even more pressure on agents that they have to do this every single time, and that they're going to
game all the time.
Yeah, this competition is going to keep increasing. Agents are going to have to be putting more and more money into making sure that their stand looks beautiful, looks professional compared to everybody else's. Is that money better spent elsewhere? I'm not sure. Right? I think it's an amazing fair here now. I think, like I said, it's up the game. But there's that little question mark in my head of what's going to be the implications of these.
What's the ROI? What's the point of pimping it up to this point, right? Because maybe perhaps there's this perception that we are in a very new venue, so you have an opportunity to really up your game.
Yeah, for sure. And some of the stunning of Saudis, beautiful, it's amazing. Some of the other travel agents, and I won't name them name by name, but some are really, really impressive. But I wonder at the end of it, and I hope that they will see sales that match that kind of input that they have put into this. Yeah. But I guess we'll find out at the end of the fair.
Luqman, what do you see so far? Because you've got some fairs going on everywhere, right? So what's selling, not selling? What is moving the needle? What are people, shifting their attention to? Or who are people like, I don't care really?
I think for now, one of the challenges to get here is accessibility, right? Besides that, you can see, like yesterday, throngs of people, despite it being a Friday. So even for our group, the sales almost double from the previous MATTA for the first 2 days, right? So you're getting quality. That's one. Secondly, if you look at the exhibition, as Hannah was trying to say, a lot more rich content because people are looking for experience. They want to feel. Like for instance, if I'm going to take some trip to Hokkaido, I really want to be able to visualize, be able to feel what kind of value that I get from this whole experience. And I think you have a lot more serious buyer here because the fact that they have to go through this kind of challenges to be here, most I think of the tour agent out there really are able to close a lot of sales. I'm hearing a lot of group travels are being snapped up, and even the team on the floor is really trying to create a lot more capacity inventories to assist some of the agents to sell the tour product.
Yeah, I can see Roslan, his eyes are squinting because they're very stressed out at the moment. Ajay, when you compare this fair versus all the fairs you've seen around the region, right, how does this compare and contrast with what you see in India and the rest of Southeast Asia?
No, this is pretty impressive. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And as I was telling Dato Zainuddin and Dato KL10, I said, it's a success because you've created traffic jams. So yeah. But Hannah has a very interesting point. The ROI is critical. And this is, I think it could do with some more representation from India as well. I think it's a little thin at the moment. But I think moving to this venue is a very good idea because it gives you the scope to be able to actually exhibit fully with, break up domestic, international, whatever. So I think this is a very good move, and all kudos to MATTA for pulling this off.
One tip is take the bus. I think it's great. And we've had multiple MATTA Fairs since reopening. I presume in the early stages of MATTA Fair, it was very domestic-centric. This time round, the dynamics is totally shifted, right? You've got a mixture of domestic and international. But interestingly, in this structure, as you were saying, Ajay, the domestic is one level, the international is one level, right? What have you seen in the domestic front now? How are people looking at the domestic experience here for Malaysians to travel domestically? Are you seeing different ways of how you position? Because it's what you heard from Selangor, right? They have a very different message between international and domestic. Are you seeing that very big distinction here?
Thank you very much. So first of all, congratulations to MATTA for finding a new location, bigger location. I remember for the last MATTA, we only decorated small space, and Tourism Malaysia have faced challenges for the local industry player, especially the small industry player, to participate. And what I see is, this year, MATTA is never changed. No, MATTA is originally start for outbound, it's not for the domestic. Correct, am I wrong? Okay, it starts with that. So with our involvement, that's why Tourism Malaysia, as an agency responsible for the promoting tourism, especially for the domestic, take a step of ensuring that there is sufficient emphasis given by MATTA for the domestic tourism. And thank you very much, MATTA, for even the Dato Tan, before Dato Tan has agreed to give emphasis of the domestic, and we always have the front entrance side of the MATTA. That is happening in PWTC, and this year you can see that domestic has been given one floor, which dulu Selangor not participating, and this year Selangor participate. Pear is not taking a post before. Now they have their own pavilion, and it shows that with the bigger opportunity, a bigger space given to domestic, more and more domestic players participate. The theme park has never been before. So this year you can see theme park have their own space and showcase the interesting destination and offered by domestic players. So it's good move, and the only thing this year I will see that the competition among the product owner. I think airlines already comfortable. It's not many airline offer. I can see this year. So the challenges is product owner and destination to promote, to entice the consumer to the visit.
Yeah, very good point. I think two things that struck me when you say this, right, Dato. Firstly, is that it's very good that actually everyone in the industry is participating and want to put their name in the map, right? Because that's what you were saying. We cannot just end up all being Langkawi, Kota Kinabalu, right? If Kota Kinabalu, you want Sandakan, you want Tawau, you want the whole diverse ecosystem of Sabah. So you want to make it wholesome and holistic. But you also show the distinction that not everybody is at the same level of diversity of choice and offering, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're saying that some people just haven't really upped the game yet.
Yep.
So where are the areas, you've seen where there are gaps where we think, okay, we need to really focus on and really make sure that the choice is available there?
Okay, that's where we are coming from. With the cooperation of the state government and the relevant tourism bodies, where we are giving the opportunity for the small player and the big player. Big player, they have a capability to be on their own, but we have to guide and assist the small operator to be in the industry and to expose what they offer. So that's where the opportunity of putting domestic in one location is good move for MATTA.
Because you can bundle quite seamlessly, so you kind of get the ripple effect that comes through. Now we've been talking all feel good, like everything's great and all that. I do want to shift our mood and tone a bit now to something a bit more worrying about the horizon. I mean, you've seen the past week, and Hannah, you've seen the bank runs taking place with Silicon Valley Bank. You've seen really big concerns over financial markets in the past 1 week, right? So then, of course, the specter of a hard landing, the specter of even a recession is coming soon. Are we going to be affected in Asia?
It's hard to say. I mean, from reading reports, at least about the very recent events in the US, Southeast Asian economy seems to be fairly resilient, seems to be fairly robust. But then, of course, it's what knock-on effect will this have on the source markets into Southeast Asia? If that's going to then end up triggering more economic uncertainty in the US and Europe, for example, is that then going to impact on the amount of discretionary spend people have? Therefore, maybe they're not going to travel long haul into Southeast Asia. And I think even that long haul is a little bit weak at the moment. There are issues with Russia not being able to fly over Russian airspace into certain destinations in Southeast Asia. We were talking already about high fares, the cost of living crisis in Europe, which is really high. But I would say we are coming out of that kind of the winter time. And the winter time in Europe, we've really seen electricity bills super high. Now as we shift into summertime, perhaps that worry is a little bit less. They're going to be thinking a bit less about how much am I spending for my fuel. Oh, maybe I can go on my summer holidays. At the end of last year, we were still seeing this really robust travel demand. So at the US TOA conference, I think Tourism Economics was saying, there really has been this kind of decoupling of travel demand versus a weak economy. So even though the economy is not doing great, people are still traveling. And it will be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering from a scenario standpoint, is a scenario that I have to travel, but I'll just walk down the ladder and go for something cheaper, or do I just not travel at all and make the experience very special? I wonder where does it end up, right, in the camp for especially the long haul traveler side?